Thanks, Marshall. Well, welcome today to everyone to the Q&A today. My name is Gary Gurr. I'll be the host, and Matt Clark will be driving documentation for us. So as we have questions that we might want to look at documentation, I'll have that posted up on the screen so we can reference it. For announcements, we have the calendar coming up. And as hopefully all of you know, Census Day is October 1st this year, so we're going to be getting Fall 1 underway. And there's kind of like a little date that we recommend that there are 0 errors, and that's November 21st. Because if you have 0 errors by then, that will help you have the time to look over all your reports and make sure your data is accurate before your certification deadline, which is December 12th. And if you find that things aren't perfect on December 12th and you have to make some corrections, there is an amendment window for Fall 1, with the final deadline being January 23rd. We do encourage that the CELPA reports the CELPAs are strongly encouraged to approve by the December 12th deadline. I think that's all we'll talk about for Fall 1. There was a flash that went out, I believe, Monday or Tuesday. I was off down in Morro Bay enjoying the cool weather. Now I'm back in Sacramento where it's 100 degrees today. This flash went out and it's talking about some code changes that are taking place. There's some new codes, a lot of language updates or new codes entirely to the names and definitions. There's a couple courses codes that are new and definition changes and retired codes. So look through this. I don't want to read through each one of it and take an hour, but do look through this for guidance on these new codes. And then farther down, it talks about the file changes for non-SPED files for 25-26, talking about the stats file. I think what this basically said was the vendors made some changes, but CALPADS wasn't exactly ready for it yet. So look to your vendors for guidance on when to use the stats files. And then the LEAP file is coming. It's not there yet, but it is coming. And I think that's about all I want to say that, but definitely take a look at the 313 flash. And does CDE have any announcements? Sean?
I just want to, thank you, Gary. Yes, I just want to reiterate that a special education flash regarding the SPED updates is forthcoming. It will be out shortly. I don't have an expected date for it just yet, but it will be forthcoming though. So please look out for that one if you have specific questions regarding some of the new modifications for SPED.
Great. And Dominic from the SPED office, any announcements?
None other than we did start the roadshows this week with stops in Merced and Madera, wrapping up in Tulare tomorrow and Fresno on Friday, and then heading for Southern California.
Perfect. Great. And Angela, anything with the bill that went in yesterday? Is today Wednesday? Yesterday?
Yeah, just a couple fixes. They're primarily working on getting Fall 1 ready, so we're not seeing a lot of bug fixes going in, but there were 3, I believe.
All righty.
They also turned on it changes to the UI. It's called Kendo. So you might see slight differences in what it was doing yesterday versus today, but it's supposed to be enhancements rather than a degradation in service. So hopefully it's not too noticeable.
Right. Okay, that should be it. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started on the questions. First question, got to get the window bigger, is from Soraya. Hello, may we receive an update on the expected resolution date of the active issue 7255?
So we probably have not been prioritizing that one, Soraya. So knowing that you need it helps that we can get that in the queue at least. because we have, like I said, we've been working on fall one. So I'll make a note of that and just make sure it's included in the next release or two.
Q1 from Rigoberto. Good afternoon, team. Are we supposed to see other LEAs, ERDs on our ERD reports? If so, how do we reconcile the ERD at another LEA? Did we follow up with the LA? And are we held accountable for other LEAs, ERDs for fall one? Yeah, you want to work with the other LEAs when you have ERDs. If you can resolve, you can't resolve there by making correction with students that's at that other LEA. They have to make those corrections. So if there's an ERD caused by another LEA, you do want to work with them to make the correction. Q1 from Larissa. We have a number of kinder students born outside of the U.S. who have their TK enrollment date as the initial U.S. school enrollment date. Are these students who have been tested and are now in ELA status of EL ineligible for the LIP program 305, a language instruction program designed for the English learners who are new to the country with less than 12 months of schooling in the United States? We interpret the 12 months to mean eligibility is 1 calendar year from the initial U.S. enrollment date to 1 day before the enrollment date in the following year, inclusively. Is this correct? I apologize for the multi-part question. I was a little thrown because you said the TK student was tested. I didn't think TK students were tested for English language. That doesn't prevent them from being in a LIP program, however.
Their TK students aren't tested, so
Yeah.
I think I don't know what to say to that portion.
Oh, they're kinder now,
they're
she
kinder
says.
now.
Okay.
Got it. Some go for it.
So I don't know that I know the answer to this.
No, it does not prevent them from being in a LIP program. The
Right.
student can still have a LIP program. And that's why that's why the HLS is still encouraged at the TK grade level to answer that first part of the question.
So the
We
303.
The 12 months to meet a language instruction. Okay, a language instruction program is different from okay. Can somebody make that bigger? I'm sorry, low blood. I don't have my glasses right now. That's my fault. So you're asking basically if 303 can be applied to TK students. That's going to be a local decision. The key part there is the CA standards and grade level content instruction. So while it can be provided to them, you don't know if the student is actually EL or English language development until they've tested. So would that count for your TK years? No, that counting should go based upon their identification as an EL student.
Okay. Hopefully that answered your question. If Q1 from Sandra. CALPADS program eligibility. I have received conflicting information regarding whether the education program membership code should be populated. According to CALPADS data guide, LEAs are not required to populate this field since it is automatically determined by CALPADS. However, I've also been informed that it's important to ensure the correct option, eligible or participating, is selected. Could you please provide clarification? Thank you. Yeah, you can't. CALPADS automatically takes care of that for you now. Years ago, it didn't. You had to, and it was always wondered, what do we put? What are the others? Is it an eligible program or participating? the data guide tells you which it is, but now users do not need to populate that. CALPADS automatically, based on the program code, puts that in for you.
The only caveat I would add, Gary, I think you nailed it, but Sandra, it sounds like maybe your SIS is using that information for something. So maybe check with either your SIS user group or your vendor support team. But CALPADS does not need it.
Q1 from Lucky, was the validation for Plan 726, the missing degree of support, fixed so it doesn't trigger for inference and preschoolers? Was that the one that was disabled?
Yeah, that one was one disabled.
Yeah, it wasn't ready for prime time is what I'm thinking, and they had to make some adjustments to the specifications to it, if I remember what I read.
Yeah, I think they're moving it to a data discrepancy. It's not going to be an input validation anymore
Okay.
because we have to take grade level into account. So that complicates that validation.
Perfect. Okay, Q1 from Monica. Is there or can there be a template like the SSID extract template to help LEAs in deciphering the columns from a requested CELA ODS download? And Chris kind of knows that you can download the CELA template and it tells you the link to the templates there. But all of the extracts, they have the extract template that has headings, and then that helps you find what you're looking for in those extracts. Q1 from Susan. I am the lead CALPADS administrator for 16 schools across 2 reporting LEAs. 9 of these schools recently underwent an authorizer change, resulting in changes to their CDS codes. Since then, I have been unable to access the LEA reports for these 9 schools. I have already submitted 2 tickets to the CALPADS service desk regarding this issue, but have not yet received a resolution. Could you please advise if there is someone I can contact directly to help restore my access? Susan, I think I was one of the ones with the ticket, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen. And now I understand there is a defect. They have identified it as a bug, and the developers have it. So hopefully, they're usually pretty quick once they get on the case to resolve it, and hopefully that will take care of the issue. As far as I understand, you should be able to access reports. Well, it's always tricky if we change codes.
Can I interrupt here?
Sure, Sean.
For a second. So, Susan, we've gotten all of your emails. You've emailed and you've placed in tickets. I think the confusion was around the word access that you used. To us, access typically means that you're not able to, not listed as the LEA admin, so you're requesting initial access as the LEA admin. Per my last review, literally about 5 minutes ago, you were looking for the LEAP file. Per Flash 313, the LEAP file is not available yet. And so if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it states there that that is why you don't have access to the LEAP file and when that LEAP file will be made available. Knowing
Actually,
that
Sean,
you have,
she says that's not what she was looking for. I think this is a case where she's trying to access, because they changed CDS codes, they're trying to access the information from what used to be under a different CDS number. And I think now we've identified there's an issue that the developers are looking into.
Yeah, I found both tickets. One, she's saying she can't access last year's or prior year's EOI reports for that school that changed. And then Alex just sent one up that's she's trying to update last year's enrollment data and she's getting a validation error. So that one is in the developer's queue to be picked up.
and then what's the other one on then, Angela?
The first one was she was trying to access prior year EOI 3 reports for those LEAs that changed authorizers, and she wasn't able to.
It's not in her drop down? Because from what Diana and I saw, it was.
Well, they had a different
That was
CDS
yesterday.
number. Yeah.
So Gary, your notes say that she wasn't able to access the revision status for the prior years.
Right.
And Sean, it seems like the IRC's changing this year has been rockier than normal.
Painful,
I don't know why
yeah.
that is, but it seems like we've been having a hard time with those this year.
I'm going to take this one offline, and Angela, if you're available right after this, because I saw this I'll forward you some of the stuff that I got.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm available at 4.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and as she mentioned, she could see the drop down for 2526 under the new CDS code, but in the previous before code, now she doesn't have access to those anymore.
And you weren't able to
Excuse
do
me.
it at the state level, Gary?
No. We'll get there. Go. Q2 from Monica, we'll come back to that. Q2 from Soraya, we'll come back to that. Q3 from Monica, we'll come back to that. Q1 from Cheryl. What guidance is there around FTE for staff? What determines or drives FTE, particularly for staff who may be over 100%? For example, a small one-school LEA has an administrator who's both the superintendent and the principal. What be the guidance for reporting the person's assignments and FTE? Well, the good news is you're allowed up to 200% FTE, and probably for situations like this where I've had talked to districts where the superintendent is the principal and also the bus driver doing multiple jobs. So yeah, you're allowed up to 200%. I don't know how, I guess it's a local decision how you want to split that up between the roles they're playing.
The example that we give in training uses the teacher classification. So the example that we provide really is meant to be more of a model for you to work from, and these are kind of local determinations. But on our training examples, if the average teacher at your site, the average contracted time for a teacher is to teach 5 periods at your school site, and they teach at a specific teacher teaches 6 periods, so they teach 1 above and beyond what is typical for the contracted time for a teacher, then that FTE percentage would be above 100. So I don't know if that helps for the non-teaching positions that don't have time based on kind of periods of the day, but that is an example from training.
Thanks, Matt. Q1 from Amber. Do we use TK as the US school start date or kinder? I do believe we're allowing TK as the start date. Q1 from Lily. Can a student be tagged as an unaccompanied youth without being tagged as homeless? I think that's a thing that goes along with being homeless. Once you put that in.
You're correct, Gary. There's no way to be an unaccompanied youth without also having an open program record for homeless.
Thanks, Nate. Q2 from Amber, we'll come back to that. Q1 from Marina. If I have a student that left us in March and did not re-enroll in school at a different district until this year, do I leave the ERD as 400 or should I change it to a T160 since student is now in school? In most cases, we're not asking that you go back and make changes. But if they have re-enrolled and it's before census day, you could resolve the ERD. You could go back and change it to a T160. Q1 from Janelli. Hello, we have 2 SPED students who are in 7th grade attending the elementary school. Last year, they were in 6th grade. We received their warning in CALPADS, but this year, when uploading an SANR, I received this error. School attendance value, I'm assuming that's a CDS number for a school, student grade level is outside of the designated grade span for the school. So you want to look up that school CDS number in the CD's directory, and it'll tell you the grade span for the school. And you want to be sure that your students are within that grade span. And there's a flash, and I can't remember the number that talks about this change in checking for grade spans. Which flash was that?
310.
310? Yeah, so there's specifically about this error. And I know there's some more discussion because I had a ticket where someone is putting 6th grade special ed students into a middle school that only serves 7th and 8th grade, and they're getting this error. So I asked the user, our requirements team has asked me to ask the user, why are they putting 6th graders in a 7th grade middle school? Just so they need more scenarios so they can take it back to CDE and have further discussions on this. So I'm not sure if that's the case you're running into, but it sounds like there's going to be some more discussion around this. But basically, according to this, you're supposed to possibly check it to maybe add a grade level to your school.
That's one option, or
Yeah.
the other option is if the student is special education and the LEA has that special education school, they can place the student there as well too.
Okay. Q2, 3, Q2.
And the special education school, the guidance for it is, there's like a grid that's on somewhere.
Was it
I know
on
where
that?
that is.
Was it on that flash? I don't remember where that grid is.
No, not on this. I think I'm putting it in the chat right now. But the sad part is I'm putting it in the chat and I gotta check myself.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So reporting data for students with disabilities, and it specifically says, I think in column K, that like the yeah, like row like K through 12, adult 21, but that's just the first example that I could find. I'm just using the verbiage there that if LEA has a specific school code designated for these students. So your LEA can have specific school codes designated for students that fall within different categories here. And so that might be the other option that their LEA needs to be able to request, and then it gives them, if not, the secondary option.
Okay.
So I would encourage them to review this one though.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's all our Q1s. We got your Q2s here. I don't know why I got a cough today. Q2 from Monica. Do all student information systems have a way to import the new MEPS file? Infinite Campus does not yet. So I guess this is a question for you guys, because I don't know that much about the student information systems. So apparently Infinite Campus doesn't yet. I don't know about the other ones, but I know they will, if they don't have it, they should be getting it. Q2 from Soraya. Our team leads are seeking more information regarding effects on funding, data, metrics, etc. for EL students whose guardians opt them out of the EL Services Program 307. We reached out to the multilingual office as instructed in a previous Q&A, but unfortunately we haven't received a response from that office despite periodic follow-ups in the last 30 days. Are there any resources or teams we could try? Any other resources we could try? We understand the student becomes ineligible for EL funding captured in Fall 1. Our leads just want more information on additional consequences, maybe an impact on the LTEL status. Rebecca's given us a couple comments here. The student still maintains the EL status, which is factored in the funding. And as far as opting out of EL services, parents have the right to opt their students out of EL programs or particular services. The decision must be voluntary and based on full understanding of the EL student's rights, the range of services available to the student, and the benefits. If a parent decides to opt out of EL programs or services, the student still retains their status as an EL English learner. LEAs must continue to monitor the English language proficiency and academic progress of students who opt out of the EL programs and services. A student does not demonstrate appropriate growth in English language proficiency or maintain appropriate academic levels, the LEA must inform the parents in a language they understand and offer EL services. Thanks, Rebecca, for that detailed explanation. And she gives a link beside, so great. Okay, Q3 from Monica. I subscribe to the listserv and I'm not getting anything. Ergo, the flash from Monday. Should I subscribe again? I know there's two listservs. Was it the CDA listserv?
If it's the flash, she's got to be talking about the CalPADS listserv.
Oh,
Let's see.
CalPADS listserv. Yeah, I never know what to do with those. Usually it's
No, but she brings up, Gary brings up a good point. Did she like subscribe to the correct listserv? So that's question one. And then two, have you ensured, did you receive, if you subscribe to the correct listserv, then you would, I think doesn't it say you receive a confirmation once approved?
she says she subscribed to all of them, but yeah, I can't remember if we send, or I don't know, whoever sends out a confirmation that you've been added. I think
Yeah,
they do.
I thought it says it on there on the CalPADS page, but I really can't remember. I'm trying to get there as fast as possible.
Is it something that your local IT department could check to see if they're not being blocked or
And
they're being
that was going to be
accepted?
my other option.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting the links in chat there for you, but I got this CalPADS listserv pulled up now, Sean, if you want to.
Okay, thank you. Description. Access. Yeah, so they have to go through the access granted process. And it doesn't look like we provide one back. But it will let you know if you try to duplicate it that, that you've already submitted one. And so you couldn't like submit one again. We only process those, I think, once a week here in the CalPADS office. So we can look in.
So if
Yeah.
if she were to send a ticket in, do we send that to you, Sean, or to CDE to check, or we just say, okay.
Yeah, that she can do. And then it needs to be, I think we were looking for like a school email address is what we're verifying it for.
All right. Q2 from Larissa. Some of our EL Kinder students have a first U.S. date from when they were TK. Since they now have been in the U.S. for more than 12 months, are they ineligible for the newcomer program?
Well, the definition of the newcomer program says less than 12 months. So I would think they are ineligible. I think the appropriate way to provide service to the students would be to have them in a LIP program available to all students their TK year, and then a specific EL student if they're determined EL in their KN year. But the newcomer program, it does specify with less than 12 months of schooling in the United States.
Can we pull up the newcomer program on the CDE website only because the program models vary portion? This program has clear entry and exit criteria. So I would pull up that portion as well too. But to Nate's point, yes, that is correct.
Can I get a link, Sean?
Come on, Matt, that would be too much. Sean in the search bar. Type in newcomer. Here we go. Copy link. No, the copy didn't open it in a new tab. Copy. Copy here. Okay, Matt.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Larissa, the link is in the chat box. And it's the last thing that Sean posted.
So if the student is meeting all of these guidelines and it has the definitions for them, the definitions and data for it, and then also the enrollment considerations as well too. So if they're meeting all of that plus the 12, that's inclusive of the 12 months. So I would just ensure that they're meeting all criteria.
Oops. Oh, there we go.
Sorry, I just sent the link as a response
Okay.
to that question in
Okay.
chat, and it made it disappear on you,
That's
Gary.
okay. That's all right. I was getting ready to close it anyway, so perfect. That brings us to the end of the questions, and we still have 26 minutes. We got 161 people. Oh, here we go. Q3 from Soraya. We are working on clearing a CCE where the student's exit date for us matches their entry date at another LEA. That happens all the time. After reviewing attendance, we were informed that the student attended period 1 only at the LEA A before starting at the same day at our LEA B. We found guidance for how to clear this in the SSID and enroll procedures doc, but does the 180-minute threshold guidance apply to charter schools? Might have never even heard about that before. The instructional time requirements website states that charter schools do not have a minimum day requirements by law. The only thing I know is, what I know is, and I don't know about this 180-minute thing, is the rule of thumb is the exit date should be the last full day of attendance at an LEA. Otherwise, if this were allowed, you're going to have this error all the time, whether it's acceptable or not. That's why there's a 2% threshold for CCEs, I guess. I don't know if anyone else has any comments on it.
I didn't see the question, so I'm gonna go with it. Yep.
Okay.
I don't know about. Offhand, I don't know about the 180. I don't know what 180.
That's the first time
is.
I've seen that. So.
But we don't collect attendance, so that's my biggest thing. Attendance is collected in the PADC. So if you're looking for attendance accounting rules, I would refer to your LEA CBO and what the requirements are. They do different for a charter school, but what those are offhand, again, that's not a CALPADS definition because it's not a CALPADS collection.
It says it's on page
You
58
can
of the
see that on
SSID and
the
enrollment procedures doc.
Let me try to get to page 58 here.
Yeah. And then I think I'm missing part of the question because mine cuts off.
Yeah. Well, basically they have a CCE because the student exited from one LEA and went to another LEA on the same day. And the first LEA is using that as their exit date. But the rule of thumb that I always follow and to prevent these, and what I thought
Yes.
CDE's guidance
Matt's in the right
was to use
place.
the last full day of attendance, because otherwise you're always going to run into this
That's correct. And Matt is in the right place. Thank you. I didn't realize
I'm
the
still looking
overlap.
for that 180 number though. I can't find
It's
It's
not
on page-
180. It's just this right here.
Okay.
It's literally just right there. And that's where it states that what Paul is saying. Because you can't count half day something or another's.
Yeah.
But if you're going to record that in your principal apportionment, again, that's separate than reporting in CALPADS.
But I
Right, I
run
hope
into
that
this a
helps.
lot. Sometimes the other LEAs not willing to budge, even though the student wasn't there for the whole day. And sometimes it's not the best option, but you just have to live with the CCE and hope that it doesn't put you over your anomaly threshold, go to certify. And then a lot of times if there's haggling going between and I can't get anywhere, then I send it to CDE to let them referee,
Yeah, we
I guess.
can be the arbiter.
Yeah. Okay, Q1 from Charlene. What is the benefit of signing SSIDs up for the newcomer program? Does it give us more funding? I
I'm
think
sorry,
any
say that again. What's the benefit of
signing up students to the newcomer program.
students get
Do they
services
get
that
more?
they need?
Yeah. Does it give them more funding if they do that, or just I don't.
I would
Students
note
get services
that
that they
there is a funding programs tab of the resource that you sent over, Sean. So that might be a good place to research for the funding implications. And it looks like federal Title III fund.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that's for the program itself. Immigrant students generate that Title III funding in terms of the adoption or the transition into American education.
Yeah, that makes sense. Charlene, I would do some research in this newcomer students page here, and I'll put it in the response to your question.
Thanks, Matt.
And it deleted the question again, Gary.
That's
Sorry.
okay. One or the other, as long as they get checked off. Anyone else think of any questions?
If there are no questions in chat, I got one. How was your vacation, Gary?
It was good. As I mentioned, I was at Morro Bay, and the temperature there is much more livable than it is here in the valley. It's just nice to get out of the heat for a little while. And even though it's September 17th, it's still summer here in Sacramento. But I did learn something. I knew Morro Rock was there. Never knew what it was though. I just thought, what is this? And so I finally read up on it, and it's a plug to the volcanic chamber. There used to be a volcano around that rock that over 28 million years has eroded and has just left the plug. And apparently there's 9 of these up and down the California coast around down that area where the volcanoes have all gone eroded, but I guess that volcanic rock hardened and it's there now sticking out like a sore thumb on the coast.
Are there geologists everywhere doing their research?
Well, we were walking around it, but I tell you, I wouldn't want to be around it if there's ever an earthquake, because there's a lot of big rocks on it that would squish you if they came loose. All right, here's a question from Derek. We'd like to display a student's most recent CALPADS enrollments outside of our LEA in the student information system so schools know where to send or request cumulative files. Would it be possible for CALPADS to create an extract for this purpose?
I can take that one, Gary.
Okay.
Unfortunately, no, we have tried to do that a couple times, and it's gone through our change request process and gets denied by the legal folks at the Department of Education. There's some concerns about legality, I guess, with CalPADS providing that information. So just recently tried it for LA Unified and it got denied again.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Derek.
PII, a whole lot of reasons
We
that,
tried to even do one without PII and they still denied it. So, I think the legal team is just being extra cautious.
yeah, that's why they do record requests from. You have to remember, Derek, that the data that's submitted to CalPADS is just a copy of what's in your local systems. And to the best of your ability, as you all certify, this data is accurate and correct, but sometimes there are definitely changes or modifications that don't match what's in CalPADS to your local systems for whatever reasons. Although people are very diligent in trying to clean up their data, it's just a human nature for mistakes. And so for us, the biggest issue I see is that we wouldn't want to report out something to another school on your behalf that's not actually accurate.
Q1 from Quinn. I know this is more of an accountability question. However, would you help me understand why would articulated courses not count as college credit courses for college career indicator? It gives the student a college credit just like dual enrollment.
This is an excellent question, Quinn, and it's because articulated courses are different at LEAs and the higher institution. And so since there is no regulation on that, we can't, for that reason, that's why we can't collect the information, because we don't know what the LEA and the higher institution have agreed to, and that could be different from each LEA to each higher institution. So it is noted in the dashboard technical guide as well, and the CalPAD to the dashboard handbook. And if I knew if where either one of those are right now, I'll gladly drop it in the chat. And I feel like Rebecca's on this call and she'll get to it even faster than me. I know that's bad when I put her on the spot.
Matt has it up on the screen too.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Matt. Because I was still looking for the guide, the handbook.
Yep, both are very handy.
There you go. I found it. It's on the other tab. It's on that same one. Go back one page, Matt. And then go down. No, it's here. Copy. They shouldn't make the copy and the cut button so next to each other, just like they shouldn't put the hang
Rebecca
up.
just posted it on the
Yeah,
Q&A.
see, I told you.
There's the dashboard resources, and
If you talk long enough,
here's
I
Rebecca got the technical guide into Google. So here's the actual dashboard technical guide for 2024. Should caveat the 2025 dashboard is releasing in November, which is coming up soon. And here is the dashboard resources site.
It sounds like if I talk long enough, I know she'll get me there.
I just feel like I want to participate in all the link chatter in there. So I'm just going to throw the link to the dashboard resources in there too.
Yes. Yeah, that was the tab I was trying to tell you to get to. The technical, that one, the technical information one there. Thank you. And thank you, Rebecca. So, and I'm sorry, I don't know who answered the question. I mean, who asked the question. But if you just literally, once you open the handbook or the technical guide, if you just control F by the word articulated or articulation, it'll easily bring you to the definitions and answer.
I was reading the chat and there's a question for me from Stephanie. Did I take a cruise around the bay? We didn't leave land, but we did sit there and watch the otters swimming in the bay and other wildlife and people on paddle boards. And I thought it would be kind of neat to water ski on there because the water was really smooth, but we didn't take a cruise. No. Quinn has posted a comment. I have the guide, but this is where I'm confused. Therefore, for the college credit measures in the CCI articulated courses will count as long as the students earn college credit by the time they graduate high school and if the courses were completed with a C- or better. The same is also true for non-articulated college courses.
She's still typing because I was like, I'm lost.
I'll try to control F for it. Let's see.
Does our students get the college credit right away with the articulated courses?
Boom. Okay, it's in a Q&A.
Mhm.
So this is the 2024 dashboard. So maybe that we've the updated guidance will be released in the 2025 dashboard technical guide. But the question is, articulation data used for the college credit measure? And the passage that she quoted is, therefore, the college credit measure on the CCI, or for the college credit measure, articulated courses will count as long as students earn college credit by the time they graduate high school, and if the course was completed with a C- or better.
I think the thing is, as far as CALPADS is concerned, you have to indicate the student received the credit, right? So the student has to be dual enrollment to count for the CCI. The thing is, when you mark that it's articulation agreement, that course can be part of articulation agreement and not award college credits. It can be the prerequisite courses to the courses that the student will take in college. It's saying it's part of a pathway. It's the articulation agreement. It's not saying the student is also receiving credit. That's why we have the indicator. It's probably appropriate to indicate both.
And
But
that's what I think Rebecca is answering. You're spot on, Nate. And that's what Rebecca is answering in the chat. There's the helpful Q&A. That aligns with what you're saying, right, Nate? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
yeah, I was just agreeing with, I think, what was previously said. I was just saying it as I understood it.
This is that Q&A.
Thank you, Nate. You've been the data guru all day. Kyron, you still own a GIF.
All right.
I love all that. The laughs coming through. Thank you.
Looks like we're still on the question. Sorry.
Rebecca has some comments. Are you coding the instructional law as 23 or 24 with the correct CTE state course code if it is a CTE college course? If it is articulated in and of itself, it will not count because there are many variations of articulated. And Quinn says it's not a CTE course. Our AP Spanish is articulated with Cal State San Bernardino.
Yes. And so to Rebecca's point, you should be, to Rebecca and Nate's point, yes, you should be coding it as the 23 or the 24 and with the correct CTE state course code. Or if it's a college course. And for college courses, please note that state board did something to where it can't be, you can report 922. I don't even want to know the number. You can report the other college course code, but it won't get calculated for CCI And I don't remember when that goes into effect.
We got more details
I
on the
think it's
course.
next-
It's not a CTE, it's an AP Spanish course that was articulated with Cal State San Bernardino.
Unless the Spanish course is coded as a college course, then no. It will not get credited for the CCI, and that's because, again, it's credited as a AP course. And so students will get AP credit then, which is different.
Okay, we have a Q1 from Gigi. When a student has been identified as an EL, can the parents opt out to have the kid take the summative LPAC, or are they required to take the summative no matter what?
Gigi, that's gonna go to your TOMS coordinator, and or you can put that into ETS, because that's directly a testing question. ETS, pass, get answers. Get answers. Here you go. Copy. Oh, wait. Oh, dang. Somebody pushed done. I was trying to put the link in there.
Oh, you're going to put, I'm sorry, I didn't
It's
know you
okay.
were putting it in there. Because she said, okay, thanks. I thought she had what she needed.
Can I type in? I can still type in answer. Paste. Send. I put it in your question, and I will put it in the chat. You should be able to just type on in the find answers to commonly asked questions. You should just be able to type it in there to be able to know. I recommend just using like keywords. Rebecca is correct that yes, they are required. Yes, I knew that, but I wanted Gigi to be able to know why they're required.
We got to stay in our lane in CalPADS. This is Tom's.
That part, exactly. So, but yeah, Rebecca gave you the short answer. But to understand the why,
Okay, we
it's
have
right there.
the Q1 from Tanya. Is there a specific system where the 3% audit for Sunbucks has to be submitted? If so, what was the deadline for the submission? That
It hasn't come yet. The deadline for the submission to you all was September 2nd, but your audit purposes, you're still going through those. And so
It says that you need to
December.
verify any that you held back for verification by December 31st. And it looks like that's the final date in the kind of series of deadlines for the EDCS. But I would review the slide deck for the regional update meetings. Tanya, it does have all of these slides contained in there.
And the two flashes.
Yeah,
They're
flash
right there.
297 and 307, Tanya.
And I want to strongly encourage LEAs. It's the perfect time to encourage you that the Sunbucks data that you are submitting is being reviewed and is correct. And it's correct by those pull dates. We've had LEAs having not a lot, but not reviewing their data and then asking for corrections after the pull.
So these are those pull dates?
Yeah, just ensure you're completing your data accuracy, as Matt and Rebecca would train to, and the data governance ones.
Okay, we have a Q2 from Charlene. Since we have a little more time, I'd like to ask a question regarding Sunbucks. Say, hypothetically, we over-report some students to EDCS and update the file in the next upload. How does summer EBT correct the mistake?
We don't know because we are not summer EBT. And summer EBT actually isn't We don't know how, let me rephrase that. We don't know how EBT corrects it. Charlene, and only because we're not the EBT office. We're not, what is it,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's a long acronym. I also forgot
Yeah.
it. So.
Thank you. I was like, I'm sorry, it's too late in the day for me to know which state agency that is, because it's like 3 of them. And anyways, so no, we don't know. It's not a question to Paula. It would be a question to the state agency. It's not a question to Summer EBT, because Summer EBT, that at cde.ca.gov, that's CDE. So have we posed the question, has CDE posed the question to EBT? Yes, we have. Have we gotten an answer back? No, we haven't. Because that's where I go back to first and foremost, though, just ensuring that your data prior to submission is correct. Have you completed your due diligence in ensuring the students that you have identified as SunBucks and sending up your SunBucks data are accurate and correct before pressing that submit button before the deadline? Or are you just in a rush to be able to do so before the deadline and then not reviewing for your data accuracy?
Okay, we're pretty much at the top of the hour and out of questions. So I think we're gonna go ahead and call it.
Sounds like a plan to me, Gary.
Yep. So thanks everyone for attending.
Thank you so much, Angela.
We'll be back again next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Have a good week, everyone.